wish you luck. You by yourself, still ain't enough. Got a soft touch, but I go hard. The proof's in a replay on the scoreboard. I'ma go and tell your coach, bring the sub in. Better come
Tonight, live from the Gale Center, Antietam Media Services presents high school basketball. It's the St. James Lady Saints versus the Lady Gales of St. Maria Goretti. I'm Wes Decker along with Coach Barry Brown. Welcome to the broadcast. Boy, it's crazy weather outside, Coach. And in here, we sort of have a handle on what we expect here tonight because we have two teams who are very similar, a couple of coaches who know each other very well. So I'm thinking that before all said and done, this is probably
to build programs here. They're pretty much at the same stage, young teams, really committed guys that are trying to, work with their kids on an individual basis. They've got excellent reputations. I know them both very well. And to me, it's going to be interesting to see the chess match that takes place between the two guys, the moves they make and what they save for later in the game if it's close. Yeah.
Speaking of those two guys, that is head coach Avery Carey of St. Maria Goretti. Their teams are this season at this point, and so far for St. James, 9-2. For St. Maria Goretti, 14-3. Here's what they had to say about the progression of their teams to this point in the season, starting with St. James coach Naylor.
I think right now, in terms of what our expectations were, we're a little bit ahead of our expectations. With such a young team still for the fourth year, we've played 9 road games and 3 home games so far. So the So where they're at now, we're ahead of where we needed to be, but we still have a lot of work to do.
I think our progression this year has been great. Our record is 13-4 right now. So looking on the outside in, sounds great to have that type of record. But actually, we're not playing the type of pressure basketball that I would like to play even after 17 games in. We're actually getting better every game that we play. But, having some new girls come in this year and then still enroll. So I'm pleased at our progression to this point, but I would like to see a little more, and I know we'll get that done as the season goes on. And the fact that we play like a 30-game season, that's good for us to be able to, work on some things within the season because we're playing so many games.
No surprise there, Coach. I mean, both of those particular coaches feel like, okay, to this point in time, we're somewhat pleased with where we are, but we're certainly not satisfied, and there's a lot more basketball to be played. And we talk about the similarities. You've got two coaches who know each other. Again, two teams who are playing very well. Young talent on both sides. I mean, there are pluses and there are minuses to that, but man, that's something that you just can't teach. If you've got that talent, then you can cultivate it, but you can't teach that.
Well, the thing about coaching a young team is you have to be patient. And it's only January, so this is way too early to be satisfied with what your record is today if you have goals and aspirations to win at the end when it matters with championships. But, boy, it's better to have young talent than any non-talent. I mean, talent is what you have to start with. There has to be something there to work with. They've got that with speed and skills, and it's exciting to see young players develop into something special as they become upperclassmen.
And as a former coach who knows good talent, what impresses you the most about these two teams?
Well, I think it's the personality of both coaches. Since I know they're going to play all out like he expects and like he was as a player. It's exactly how he played at TJ when he was in high school, Coach Dickman. And Avery Carey He's a guy that he knows the game. He's teaching a lot of skills. He's a little newer to this, but he's caught up very quickly. And boy, it's just a great. I'd love to see Avery carry with the ball in his hands and Nate Naylor covering him, and you know, because they both know what they're doing, and they bring that intensity.
We've even seen that with volleyball between the two schools. Only about 7.5 miles separate St. Maria Goretti and St. James. And it had been a while since there had really been a rivalry between the two schools. But I would say over the last 5 to 7 years, it's really started to develop again. But you have to have both teams capable of beating the other, and this may be the first time in a while where that's really happened with girls basketball.
It's pretty neat. You know, it's on the boys' side. It's phenomenal. They earmark, and it's special. So I can't wait to see it.
St. Maria Goretti has won the last 6 in the series. You have to go back to February of 2011 for the last time that St. James won. So I talked to each of these coaches yesterday about this rivalry, and here's what they had to say about it going into tonight.
Well, I think this year kind of being the first year where I think both teams are going to go into this the area are starting to feel that. So now it's the outside people that we got to kind of keep our kids focused on one game at a time. You know, Tuesday we had to keep our kids this week focused on Gersdale and not Goretti. It's becoming somewhat of a big rivalry, and Coach Avery's doing a great job with Goretti. He has a lot of great players over there, and it's, you know, I don't think we
tell them all the time, if you can get up for St. James like this, you should be able to get up for every game like that. And, you know, as a coach, I would love that to happen. But this game is big for us because not only the rival, but also even kind of the dynamic between coaches. Me and Coach Naylor, we actually kind of grew up together. Him and my little brother were best friends. So he was always over the house. So to see him walk in the gym, and then we're coaching against each other, and we know we're trying to build great programs at our own schools, I mean, it goes a little deeper. It's like I have some of my friends and family members even tell me, I can't wait to the St. James game because I get to see you and Nate coach against each other. And you guys are doing such a great job with the girls. So I think outside of just the rivalry for everyone, I think it's good for the hometown. Exchange videos, things like that. So it's always great to be able to have that type of dynamic with any time you're going into any type of game, or just having girls like this and the great girls that he coaches coming up under St. James. It's always easy to get them up for it. They're so excited. That's why we're not practicing long today. Shots up, go over the plays, get them out of here, let them be excited going into tomorrow.
Well, clearly, Coach Avery Carey was ready for this rivalry yesterday. As we said, St. Maria Goretti has gotten the better of it over the last half. With injuries, Ariel Jean-Jacques, one of the few seniors on either of these two teams, out with a concussion. And then you've got Paige Demery, who averaged a double-double last year, Coach. As a freshman, was averaging a double-double so far through this sophomore season. Injured her ankle just a game ago. She'll be out for the next 6 weeks. So he's going to have a little bit of a patchwork lineup, whereas Coach Naylor is going to have his normal starting 5, although his depth may be challenged a little bit. He has some players who are sick here. interesting to see if Coach Carey can get some of those players to step up for him who have to step into those new roles.
Well, the cup is definitely half full for Coach Carey. You know, this Stubbs kid, we saw her last year. She's a heck of a player.
We saw her at North Hagerstown.
Oh, my. Yeah. She's a heck of a player. And if St. James is going to have success tonight, they've got to contain her. And, you know, when you look at these players they lost, Jocks and Demery, that's a lot of rebounds. That's 20 rebounds a game. And can they get the board work done?
Right.
And I love the fact that Coach Naylor's philosophy, which I respect a lot, is one game at a time. And that's a perfect approach for that. Their backs to the wall, and maybe the equalizer is the fact that they're at home. You know,
6-0 at home so far.
This tough place to play.
Yes.
It's just different. As a player, I remember it's just different. So I look for Bartlett and Stubbs. I want to see that. I want to see those two go at it a little bit. The quickness for each team, and see who steps up and gets the job done on the boards for the Gales.
Yeah, there will be a lot of different facets to this game that will certainly wind up deciding it in the end. But again, we've got a tremendous amount of talent on the floor, very young talent, and we can't wait to bring it to you. We're coming back as we inch closer to tip-off. Coach Brown and I back. We have starting introductions coming up and the opening tip just ahead on Antietam Media Services, WCL-TV. We're back in just a moment.
For a lifetime of success with St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School. An education with strong morals and values, small class sizes, academics, new technology and opportunities for community involvement. Service. Help your child reach their full potential. Come join us. St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School, educating every child with faith in God and hope for our future.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business.
Contact Antietam Broadband to find out more about Flight Gigabit Direct Fiber Connection for home and business.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Welcome back to the Gales Center, and we've set up this game in many different ways. We can also say that there's a 3-game win streak for St. James on the line against a 3-game win streak for St. Maria Goretti on the line. And again, it's very difficult to separate these two teams. St. James has won those 3 games by absolutely shutting down the opposition, allowing just a total of 71 points in the last 3 games. That's 23.7 points per game. That is some suffocating defense while scoring an average of 57.7. So they've been plus 34 over those 3 games. St. Maria Goretti, meantime, without Ariel Jean-Jacques in the lineup, averaging 68.3 points per game while allowing just 35 over their last 3. So plus 33.3 for Goretti. I mean, those are just phenomenal numbers.
It again shows the personality of the coaches. You know, Coach Naylor, his defense is going to lock down, and that's what it's about for him. It's just aggression all game. And you give Coach Carey long enough kind of players he needs, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't start averaging 75 plus a game. So which one wins tonight?
Right. Each team last played on Tuesday. St. James defeated Gerstel Academy. It was the Saints' first game in 12 days and only their third home game of the season, and it was their first at home in a month. However, the Saints have fared well on the road. They're 7-1 away from the St. James campus. Meantime, Goretti, as I said, also playing on Tuesday. They won at Glenelg Country Day. It was just the fourth game the Gales have played decided by less than 11 points this season. They're 2-2 in games decided by fewer than 11 points. As I said earlier, Goretti so far this year is undefeated here at home, 6-0 at the Gale Center.
Something has to give tonight, Wes.
A year ago, St. James was 19-6 overall, third season for Nate Naylor in 2016-17 with the Saints, and it was the first year for Avery Carey at Goretti. The Gales went 17-11 in his first season. So we'll get the starting lineups here, and for St. James, 5 very familiar names about to be announced. That St. James lineup consisting of 2 sophomores, 2 juniors, and a freshman. Freshman, a sophomore, and the only senior we'll see on the floor tonight for St. Maria Goretti. We're coming back. The opening tip coming up in just a moment. We'll be back right after this.
With over 50,000 square feet of merchandise, chances are Labors has what you need. Chairs, Labors has hundreds. You're welcome to come in and try before you buy. Filing cabinets, Labors has hundreds from verticals to laterals. Desks, cubicles, bookcases, conference tables, and more, and all at up to 70% off. Browse Labors' great selection of global office furniture, and they're happy to announce that they now carry FlexSteel furniture, quality home furnishings at Labors warehouse prices. It's all under one roof. Labors on Vasel Boulevard in Hagerstown. Family owned and operated for over 40 years.
When you're sick or hurt and can't be seen by your regular doctor, you just want to feel better faster. Make a convenient appointment or simply walk into Meritus Urgent Care, where you can receive attention from our caring professionals, from sprains and strains to sore throats, earaches, and other ailments that are not life-threatening. Meritus Urgent Care has you covered with on-site labs and x-rays and much more. We're conveniently located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Hagerstown at the Sylvania Center. Feel better faster with Meritus Urgent Care.
Everywhere it happens, it's all connected by the sewer. What happened?
What is that? Turn it off!
If we stick together, all of us will win.
Make it a wonderful day. Kill them all! Kill them all!
Rent it now.
Digital customers, tune to Channel 1 to get started.
Prepare your child for a lifetime of success with St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School. An education with strong morals and values, small class sizes,
academics,
offers new technology and opportunities for community involvement.
Service.
Help your child reach their full potential.
Come join us.
St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School, educating every child with faith in God and hope for our future.
Welcome back to the Gale Center, or as I referred to it earlier, the Gale Castle, because with all the rain that we've gotten tonight, it's like there's a moat around it. This weather has been absolutely zany the last several weeks, and here tonight dealing with some thunderstorm activity of all things, and temperature today that was around 70 degrees, so I feel like we should maybe be playing baseball instead of basketball, but we expect that we have a good one on our hands here tonight. And it's interesting, you look at that starting lineup for St. Maria Goretti, as was announced, and the two players who step in, Katie Miller, the only senior on the floor that we'll see for either team tonight, and McKenna Reif, a freshman for St. Maria Goretti, as they'll replace the injured Jean-Jacques and Demery tonight for Coach Carey. It'll be a very intriguing matchup here in many ways, but as you said, out there on the perimeter, Krista Bartlett for St. James, who is actually in her 4th year, even though she's a junior, 8th grader. She made a splash as an 8th grader at St. James, and seems like she's been around forever. And Kyra Stubbs, the sophomore, the transfer from North Hagerstown. And right away, we'll see Stubbs take it right to the hole, too strong, and the rebound ripped away by Skylar Treadwell. And St. James quickly into the front court. Morgan Mosley underneath, left it short. And Camille Zanayich for Goretti, and left open for the long three. Peyton Kirshner wouldn't go down, and the rebound by Mosley. Kirshner has been playing extremely well as of late during this 3-game winning streak that Goretti has put together. She has scored a total of 81 points in those 3 games, averaging over 27 points per game. And one thing that she certainly can do, even though she's a 6-footer, is shoot from the perimeter. Each team has a player who can do that, Coach. You got Treadwell on the St. James side who can do the same thing. She made 55 threes last year.
Well, Goretti came out and they went zone. They went in a 1-2-2 or a 3-2 zone, and they're going to match up best they can. They forced a long 3. Beautiful dish.
And Morgan McMahon, the freshman, with the lay-in from Krista Bartlett.
That was absolutely gorgeous. What a pass from Bartlett.
So St. James grabs the early 2-0 lead. We're a minute 15 in. Down to 5 on the shot clock. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Miller had to attempt to get one off, and Treadwell with her second block already, and the pass is over Skylar's head. She tried to save it but could not keep it in. That was a tough one to save as Mosley tried to hit it ahead to her. But we're seeing the presence of Treadwell make a difference here in the early going on the defensive end in particular.
Well, I like the defensive pressure, the man pressure they're putting on Goretti, and there's that matchup. Bartlett and Stubbs. But yeah, Treadwell, she's the X factor, I think, in this game.
McMahon with the steal all the way to the hole against Kirshner and draws the foul.
That's how you attack the basket. That was a nice looking drive to the hole. She accelerated in her last couple steps, and that forced him to call the foul. That's very aggressive. I love that.
You know, I asked the coaches about the progression of their teams this season, and I think Morgan McMahon has really progressed as the season's gone along. As a matter of fact, in the last 7 games, she's been in double figures in each of them. 5 times she's been St. James' leading scorer, averaging 16.1 points per game over the last 7. And she has really become an offensive threat. Gets 1 of 2 at the line to extend the lead to 3, and foul called on Tessa Douglas as Zanayich.
It's a good idea. She tried to get over, but the kid had the ball in her left hand, and she'd have to get over and square up a little bit better to get the charge call.
Wright couldn't get it to fall off the inbounds. Treadwell handles into the front court. Stubbs nearly able to take it away. Treadwell recovers. Now Douglas for 3. Weak side rebound by Rife and a reach in against Mosley. And that will be her first personal, second team foul against the Saints.
There's that board work. That's what they've got to do. They've got to get inside position and fight for everything.
Stubbs able to use her reach to keep that one alive and maintain possession. Now Kirshner called for the travel.
See, that all started with Bartlett overplaying Stubbs. It kind of set the whole tempo. It got Goretti out of their flow right away. That defensive pressure is something we're going to have to really watch as this game goes on.
Treadwell with a nice feed to a cutting Mosley for two.
Treadwell has already made a couple really nice passes. It's fun to play with a teammate that hits you when you're open.
And another Goretti turnover, and that's one of the things when I talked to Coach Carey yesterday, he discussed, he said, you know, we cannot afford to turn the ball over against them. We're going to be going in a little shorthanded, and I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but we can't turn the ball over. The only silver lining so far, not many live ball turnovers, but nonetheless, when you don't get a look at the basket, that doesn't help your cause down by 5. Zanajic for Kirshner, and that one tipped, and it went off Peyton's hand out of bounds. And it will go back over to the Saints. Another Gales turnover. Caroline Molyneux into the game for St. Maria Goretti, replacing Miller. Saints still with their starting 5. Treadwell rejected by Rife, and the loose ball recovered by Treadwell. Now Mosley into the lane, and one. Fouled by Molyneux.
Mosley looks like she's a really good ball player. And again, she's a sophomore. So you're talking about Treadwell, sophomore, Mosley, sophomore, working in there.
Yeah, two players in the same class with the skill sets they possess.
And
a lot of talent.
There's something about Mosley that makes her very difficult, and that's the fact she's left-handed.
Yes, sir. 7-0. St. James leads it nearly halfway through the opening quarter. Zanajic, beautiful pass to Stubbs, and she's able to finish at the rim.
It finally worked. Coach Carey prepared his kids playing against overplay pressure to cut back door, and that's the first time it's worked. It looked good. If you're going to do that defensively, you've got to be able to help. And they didn't quite get there in time.
So we'll see if Goretti can build on that after forcing a St. James turnover. Nope, they're going to give it right back.
She was looking for the backdoor cut.
Yeah, Goretti looking a little out of sync, but again, you can attribute that to the fact that two players who are normally in that lineup, not in there at the moment, and won't be. And that's one of the things, you know, when we talked about that in the open, Coach, you know, for Goretti, this is kind of a launching point going forward, because this is something they're going to have to deal with for a while. It looks like Demery could be lost for the rest of the season as Treadwell with the catch on the feed from Mosley turns and puts it in.
That back line of the zone, when one side moves out, the weak side's got to move over. They're going to have to drop guards down. They're going to have to do something, because that's open right now every time they're coming down and setting up.
Coach Carey wants a timeout here with 3:26 left to go in the opening quarter. This will be a 30-second timeout. But he's not. Now they're going to, I thought they were going to extend it to a full, and they will. But yeah, this is not the start that he was hoping for. Again, a game that he talked about, you don't have to get your players up for it, but once you get out there, you need to calm down a little bit, adrenaline-wise. And again, I know that he's been able to practice the last several days, minus the players that he's used to having in the lineup, in particular Demery, because they've been playing without Jean-Jacques. But here in the early going, St. James not only able to match the intensity, but then able to cash in and take advantage of what they're doing. And in seeing the way that they were practicing yesterday, they seem to be executing perfectly.
Right. Well, this timeout, it's a critical moment in this game early on. the adjustments that he made or reminding them of the job they're supposed to do, particularly defensively. Offensively, they've got to calm down a little bit, and if they're going to run high screens or back doors, they got to run it and make the play that it's there, not force it. But defensively, they've got to make some adjustments.
Kirshner off the inbounds. That's a long two, short, and Treadwell with the rebound, and St. James will quickly bring it into the front court.
That was a smart play. There's no advantage. She didn't force it. Very smart.
Three minutes left to go here in the opening quarter. Ball tipped by Kirshner. Treadwell gets it back. 3 seconds on the shot clock. 2 down to 1. Douglas fires. Hit the rim. Kept alive. Stubbs comes out of the pack with it. She's going all the way to the rim. Rejected by Treadwell, but the foul is called.
That's Stubbs taking it to the hole. She's quick. It's just, she's tough. She gets in the open court. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, if you give her a step and she gets in front of you, you may as well forget about it.
And she's a very good foul shooter, which we saw that last year. As long as she does the job that she usually does.
Comes in averaging 17 points per game. She averaged 16.6 last year at North as a freshman. And so far this season, 6 20-point games. Her season high 28 against Highland View a couple of games back. She's capable of having those big games, but she's one of those who is going to fill the stat sheet because she does so many things well. She can pass the ball well. She takes the ball away from the other team well. She rebounds well. She shoots well. She just has the complete package.
And when she has to, she can be a playmaker. But looking at this Goretti team, she's really going to have to be a huge offensive threat tonight.
Yeah, she's going to have to adjust her game a little bit. Bartlett all the way through the lane, got to the rim, couldn't get it to fall. Zanajic, who rebounds very well for a guard, pulls it away. Cross-court pass for Stubbs, and Kyra couldn't hold on to it. Stubbs has the only 3 points the Gales have put on the board so far. 3 different players accounting for the St. James 9 that the Saints have on the board. Treadwell able to move to the hoop and scores over Rife. She and Mosley with 4 each, McMahon with 3, and the lead is 8. Bartlett tips it out of bounds. It will stay with Goretti with 20 on the shot clock.
I hate to keep harping on it, but right now this zone is set up for Treadwell and Mosley to go off. And they're just going to have to adjust it. These girls can play. They're quick. They're explosive off the dribble. Now that's one way you can fight it.
And that is Claire Hahn, who just recently came back from an ankle injury, knocking down a 3. Loose ball underneath, and Treadwell cashes in. Under 2 minutes left to go in the opening quarter. Zanajic against McMahon. Zanajic all the way to the basket, had it stripped away at the very last moment, and out of bounds last touch by the Saints.
You know, Wes, sometimes we talk an awful lot about stopping people on defense, or, you know, if your defense is giving up points. But if you go down the other end and you start knocking down threes and getting some foul shots and some easy buckets, you can neutralize all that.
Yeah, that is a big game changer, there's no doubt, because it forces the defense to respect other things that you do instead of just sagging and saying, hey, I'm going to stop this on the interior, or I'm going to stop this on the perimeter if you're only scoring from there. So, yeah, you create your own versatility if you're able to knock down shots. Here's McMahon on the pull-up, and she gets it to go. Her second field goal. She now has 5.
Looked like their Goretti was extending their defense in a little 3/4 court pressure containment. Then there was some confusion, and the girls were running back. They never got set in their half-court defense, and it just created an opportunity, an easy opportunity. Good heads-up play to recognize that as the offensive player. And she again, this kid's a heck of a player.
Yeah, Morgan McMahon has, like I said, really improved as the year has gone along, too. And she's put up 19 points twice this season, once in a loss to Millbrook. And I talked to Coach Naylor about that. I said, you know, when I look at your schedule and I look at the results, a 31-point loss to Millbrook back on December the 20th. And Millbrook, a very good basketball team.
Absolutely.
They played there in Winchester. And he told me, you know, we hung in there for the most part. The fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter is when things really got away from us, and we're going to get another shot at them. So they'll get a chance to play Millbrook at home coming up during the St. James Invitational Tournament. They'll have a girls game, which will be that one on the final day before the championship. So I'm sure they'll be prepared this time around. They'll know exactly what they're up against. But, you know, that's that team from Winchester is no joke.
Oh, they're a Virginia powerhouse.
Yes, they are.
They have been for many years. But to go down there and play, you know what may be coming, but you got to see your kids compete, and that's probably what Coach Naylor was talking about. And then have them back on your floor.
Yes.
What a great opportunity. That's the only way you get better. You know, you don't get better unless you play teams that are better than you, because it doesn't mean they're going to be better than you a month from now. And, you know, you got to see that kind of competition.
Well, this is a very interesting stretch for St. James, including this game tonight, because at Fort Hill is the next game. And Fort Hill has been one of the best teams in the state on the public school landscape so far this season. Beat St. Maria Goretti in the championship of the Holiday Hoops Classic in Clear Spring. Now, in that game, Goretti lost Kyra Stubbs in the second quarter with an injury, and she never returned. And that was the game where Jean-Jacques suffered the concussion, which came at the beginning of the fourth quarter. But nonetheless, take nothing away from Fort Hill. And that game for St. James will be on the road coming up next week. And then they're part of the private versus public school challenge in Baltimore, getting McDonough on January the 20th.
Great competition.
Yeah, so it ratchets up. I mean, this three-game stretch here is going to tell a lot about where this St. James team is at the moment. It's Mosley from three-point range. She doesn't often shoot from out there, but she had to let that one go. The shot clock was winding down, and the ball goes out of bounds, and we'll go over to Goretti, I believe. Yes, 26 seconds remaining here in the quarter. So the shot clock is off. Goretti can play for the final shot. And Coach Carey lets the Knights know exactly what he wants. McMahon was saying, that's enough talking in the backcourt. I'm going to come force your hand. And that one is through the hands of Zanaich and out of bounds.
That's what they didn't want. They did not want St. James to get another possession. They wanted to get one shot and a chance to get a rebound, but nothing more.
4 on the shot clock. Bartlett from 15. Off the mark, and that's the way the quarter will end. And it's one that the Saints will be very pleased with. The Gales, not so much. They've got some work to do. End of one at the Gales Center. St. James 15, St. Maria Goretti 6. We'll be back in just a moment.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Well, a solid opening quarter for St. James, for St. Maria Goretti. As I said, as we went to break, a lot to work on. Only 2 players have been able to score so far. Stubbs with 3 and Hahn with 3 off the bench, and that's been the extent of it to this point, and that's been a big issue, just turning the ball over. And this time it's Bartlett who takes it away. Krista on the drive, and a nice little teardrop bucket, her first of the night.
And that all came off of their defensive pressure again.
Largest advantage of the night is now 11 for St. James. Stubbs with 8 on the shot clock.
There you go.
Left-hand drive too strong, and Zanajic had it ripped out of her hands.
That was a nice job down there with Zanajic going after the rebound. She never gave up on the play, and Stubbs made a nice drive to the basket. So,
as I said, she is a good rebounding guard, averaging 7 rebounds per game this season. Coach Naylor was way out on the floor there. He might want to tap it down just a little bit here. He is really amped up. He wants his team to stay on top of this Goretti team, and you know how that is, Coach. When you get a team down, you want to continue to impose your will. You want to widen that advantage. Don't let them back into it, especially in a rivalry game like this.
He's also trying to keep his kids amped up. He doesn't want them to let up in any way, and he wants them to take his personality, and that means he just isn't going to stop. I mean, he's just working. See, what he's talking about is the shot clock on the shot didn't touch the rim.
Right.
And he was absolutely right.
Yeah, that was.
So on the rebound, then it went out of bounds. So the shot clock shouldn't have been reset.
So it remains at 5 seconds. That's where they put it. Stubbs to Hahn for 3 off the back of the iron is Zanajic.
Nice job, Zanajic again.
Able to track down the rebound, and then we have a foul spotted down low against Tessa Douglas.
She's a blue-collar kid. You can see that. She works hard. That's two now in a row that she's gotten the offensive rebound.
Second personal on Douglas, first player in the game with 2 personal fouls. Kirshner gets it into Zanajic, quickly over to Hahn, who goes baseline, and Bartlett able to clear the rebound. Bartlett's shot partially blocked, and then the joust for the rebound, and the foul will be on Mosley, and that will be her second personal.
The way this game's gone so far for St. James, I don't know that I'd run any offensive set where Treadwell didn't touch the ball.
Yeah, you're right.
Because she's just right now, she's just that X factor that they just cannot contain.
Yeah, you're helping Goretti if she doesn't get a touch.
And it makes everyone else better because they know when she has it, everyone's just concerned. So they don't have to do anything too quick.
Reif leaves it short underneath. The battle for the rebound results in a held ball, and the possession arrow belongs to St. James. Treadwell gets a touch this time, finds an open McMahon on the left wing, too strong. Douglas the rebound, shot clock does not reset, ball never touched the rim, 7 seconds. McMahon skip pass too high for Bartlett and out of bounds, and the ball goes over to Goretti. So 2 minutes into the second quarter, and so far in the period, just 2 points on the board. Those 2 belonging to St. James. Zanajic trying to force it underneath for Stubbs, and Bartlett able to get a hand on it and deflect it off the hands of Kyra Stubbs and out of bounds, and another over and another end.
Coach Naylor, he's got man kid. She's really adrenaline. And the last play was just an example of a young kid, a little out of control, threw a pass too high. It's not a major deal. She's young. He just calmed her down. It's just a subtle thing, but it's exactly what she needed at just the right time.
Abby Barnes, who had just recently entered the game for St. James with a big offensive rebound there. Bartlett couldn't score from inside, and Goretti back the other way, and then Krista never gave up on that one, able to deflect it, takes it away, drives and scores.
And that again was off defensive pressure.
Yep.
This Bartlett kid is really having a major effect on this game defensively.
Well, she's relentless. If she doesn't score at the offensive end, she doesn't put her head down. She just gets back defensively and goes and gets the ball back.
And again, pressure on the ball there. I really think Goretti's trying really hard to run backdoor cuts, and the pressure on the ball changes all that. You can run that in practice over and over again, but as soon as you have this kind of aggressive pressure, it changes it.
Well, is some of the length of St. James causing problems with that?
Length, quickness, strength. It's a combination. It's just athleticism.
McMahon able to find Bartlett, and then Bartlett to Barnes, and Barnes hit underneath on the shot attempt. The foul will be on Zanaich.
But Wes, when I say athleticism, it's also the fact that they're all in position. They're not just out there being athletic, but they're athletic kids that are in position. They're well coached, they're in position, and they're schooled to overplay and also to react to backdoor cuts. And right now, they're doing a very good job of that. Plus the pressure out front. It's tough for St. Maria to even get into their offense right now.
Yeah, St. James is disrupting everything from the time that Goretti possesses the basketball. Barnes gets 1 of 2 at the line, and the lead is extended to 14 now. Hahn gets caught down low. The ball is loose and out of bounds. Again, Goretti turning the ball over and not able to get in to its offense. And give St. James a lot of credit. Now here's Treadwell, steps around Rife and scores.
I think that was another example the defense really didn't get back quick enough and turn and get ready. I don't think they were quite set defensively. St. James has recognized this several times tonight.
Foul is called on Bartlett, but it's called on the floor prior to the shot by Stubbs. So no basket. And St. Maria Goretti will inbound with 18 on the shot clock. Really, I think when you look at this game coming in, and you hit on it up top, Kyra Stubbs had to be an offensive force tonight as Hahn's shot is rebounded by Barnes, and St. James again continues with this track meet. McMahon on the miss. Barnes tried to stick it back. No good. Zanaich able to clear yet another rebound. She goes 1-on-2 and will draw the foul. But I think when you attempted to see where the points would come from tonight with those two players that we talked about out of the lineup, it had to be Stubbs, and I think it had to be Peyton Kirshner, who has been shut out so far. Again, 81 points over the last 3 games. But if you can't get into the flow offensively, it's hard to get any points on the board, and you're not getting anybody involved because you're not able to establish anything.
And I think Zanaich has realized, or she's been told, she's going to have to really pick up her game. She's a very unselfish player, playmaker, sets up other players. But that play right there is what they got to do. They've got to go in there aggressively. The only way you can come back in a game like this is you have to be aggressive and get to the foul line and make your foul shots. A Jankster.
She gets 1 of 2. First point of the period for the Gales. Tough shot by Bartlett in traffic. And Stubbs able to pull down the rebound. Tough pass for Kirshner, and last touch by Bartlett. Ball will stay with the Gales. But there's another example. Nothing is easy for St. Maria Goretti right now. And we have a foul away from the ball. It'll be on McMahon.
McMahon's a super intense player. She just has to, with maturity, she's just going to have to just learn to control that a little bit, not get those cheap fouls from, now you got a kid going to foul lines, good foul shooter. She doesn't have to do that.
And McMahon a good 40, 50 feet away from the basketball there, called for the foul that puts Goretti in the bonus. Zanayich shooting 1 and 1.
They've got to make them all.
Bartlett tracks down the rebound. Bartlett, nice crossover all the way to the rim, left it short. Zanayich, yet another rebound for Goretti. To the middle of the floor, and she dribbled right into Bartlett, and Bartlett took it away, and it gets tied up by Kirshner. And the possession arrow is in Goretti's favor.
That's just great defensive intensity, Bartlett. She's being aggressive on both ends. The only thing this quarter is Treadwell has not gotten enough touches, in my opinion.
Yeah, there have been some quick shots and some shots in traffic where they could probably take their time and get a better one.
Yeah.
Stubbs on the drive, bodies hit the floor. And the foul is on Barnes of St. James for a block.
That looked like a pretty good play. Stubbs was a little bit out of control. She was attacking. You'll see it here. Yeah, no, see, she wasn't square. That's why it didn't go her way. It's a good idea.
So Kyra Stubbs to the line, knocks the first one down.
But even if you don't get that call, Wes, the next time the kid drives down in, they'll be looking for the kid setting up for the charge. It can have an impact on the rest of the game, even if you got a blocking call.
Puts another thought in the mind of that attacking player.
Absolutely. Now, right now, Goretti's, they're okay. They chip away at this thing a little bit at halftime, have it down under 10 or so. They'll be okay. They just can't lose control of this game. And St. James has to go where their money is right now. They've got to get great high percentage shots the rest of the half. That'll stop Goretti from getting it under 10.
Working against the 2-3 zone here with Treadwell from three-point range. That's off the mark. Barnes saves it, but then in the hands of Molyneux of Goretti. And then Bartlett takes it right away from Zanayich. Feeds underneath to Mosley, who uses the left to score.
What a pass. We haven't seen Mosley for a while. That was a phenomenal play around the rim. And again, another great pass.
Zanayich drove into trouble, able to find Hahn, who bails her out from three.
Big shot.
Second three-point basket of the game for Claire Hahn. And it's a 12-point game. Reif able to get a hand on that, and Molyneux came up with it and knocked out of bounds by St. James. It's Goretti basketball with 2:14 left to play in the first half. I'll tell you, it's a little bit tough for a young team, too, who's had so much success. As Hahn drills another three. But for a young team, Coach, who's had so much success, all of a sudden you find yourself down by double digits. It's a bit of a learning process.
Yes, it is.
In coming back and dealing with that adversity as Treadwell kind of stems the tide for a moment for St. James, and it's back to 11.
They better not leave Hahn alone behind that arc.
Treadwell deflects it out of bounds, and it'll stay with Goretti. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Then we've had 3 3-pointers made in this game, all by Claire Hahn off the Goretti bench. Miller to trigger the inbounds, gets it into Reif, but as she tried to dribble, McMahon was right there, able to knock it away. Now Bartlett for McMahon, and a great anticipation play by Zanayich. Pull up from the elbow.
We've got a game now. What a nice run by Goretti.
Showing a lot of heart here.
And they've done it with Stubbs on the bench.
Treadwell off the mark, kept alive by Barnes. Mosley has it off the glass, too strong. Treadwell with the board. And they will call a held ball on that. Alternating possession belongs to St. James.
It's getting physical down inside now.
Well, all of a sudden now with the Saints no longer dominating this game, with the Gales starting to get their feet a little bit. They're starting to compete. So that's really ramping it up on both sides. Treadwell from three-point land. 13 for Skylar Treadwell in the game, 7 in the quarter.
She's a heck of an inside-out player.
Oh,
I mean, I love her down inside attacking the rim, but when she can step out and do that, boy, what a complete player. It's only a sophomore.
Yeah, led the county with 55 made three-pointers last year.
That's awesome.
As a freshman. Tough pass into the corner. A good catch, and the shot goes down. That's Sage Legou, a freshman who was called up for this game.
Take it to the hole. There it is. We're going to call it. Call the bump. And they have a chance to get it under 10, Wes. They've done exactly what they needed to do. Led by this Hahn kid knocking down bombs from behind the arc.
And Kyra Stubbs got a little blow there, as you said. They were able to kind of generate some energy and get some offense going with her on the bench. She comes back in, makes a defensive play, puts herself at the free throw line.
There it is. And let me tell you something. Coach Carey hasn't taken many breaths here in the last 5 minutes, and he realizes how big this run was right before halftime. You got to give yourself a chance in the second half, and they've done that here.
An opportunity to cut the lead down to 8 with 18 seconds remaining in the half. It remains at 9. Treadwell with the ball in her hands. Gives it to Bartlett. 10 seconds on the clock. McMahon open for 3. Too strong. Stubbs the rebound. 1 second, and Treadwell able to get in the way and knock the ball free as the buzzer sounds. But a tremendous job by St. Maria Goretti. They fell down by as many as 16 points, and all of a sudden you look up and it's down to a single digit, and they outscored the Saints in that second quarter. Or actually, they play them even in the second quarter, 14 points apiece for each team, and that's after Goretti struggled to score for almost the first half of the second quarter. So a very strong second segment of that period by St. Maria Goretti. So now an opportunity for Coach Carey to go in, make some halftime adjustments, and remind his team that, hey, we're not out of this game at all. You guys made a tremendous run so far. We've got the whole second half ahead. This isn't out of our reach at all. St. James on the other side just has to readjust, get back to what they were doing well, and just kind of cause more of that mayhem that early in that first half was working for them so well, because Goretti couldn't even get their offense started. We'll talk more about it here. Our halftime report coming up when we come back to the Gale Center at the break. 29-20. St. James on top of St. Maria Goretti. Coach Brown and I are back in just a couple of minutes.
When you're sick or hurt and can't be seen by your regular doctor, you just want to feel better faster. Make a convenient appointment or simply walk into Meritus Urgent Care, where you can receive attention from our caring professionals, from sprains and strains to sore throats, earaches, and other ailments that are not life-threatening. Meritus Urgent Care has you covered with on-site labs and x-rays and much more. We're conveniently located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Hagerstown at the Sylvania Center. Feel better faster with Meritus Urgent Care.
Everywhere it happens, it's all connected by the sewer. What happened?
What is that? Turn it off!
If we stick together, all of us will win.
Make it a wonderful day. Kill them all! Kill them all!
Rent it now.
Digital customers, tune to Channel 1 to get started.
Prepare your child for a lifetime of success with St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School. An education with strong morals and values, small class sizes,
Academics,
new technology and opportunities for community involvement.
service.
Help your child reach their full potential.
Come join us.
St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School, educating every child with faith in God and hope for our future.
It's here. It's breathtaking. It's ultra fast. Gigabit Internet. Fiber to your home. Fiber to your business.
Contact Antietam Broadband to find out more about Flight Gigabit Direct Fiber Connection for home and business.
Well, the first half in the books here at the Gale Center. St. James jumping out to that early lead, Coach, and really that's what made the difference in this first half, because St. Maria Goretti finally got itself going there in the second half of the second quarter and has really made this a basketball game. But when you look at the differential on the scoreboard, it's all because of what St. James was able to do early.
They established their style of play right away. And what they did was defensively, they were super aggressive. They were pressuring the ball. They were forcing Goretti into overplays, I guess. But Goretti also wanted to cut backdoor with that, so it wasn't working very well for Goretti early on. They adjusted some. Also offensively, St. James was really attacking down inside with Treadwell and Mosley. They were a tough combination. And when they really worked the ball and got it down in there, they couldn't contain them. What Goretti did was they just didn't lose their minds. Coach Carey stayed calm, which is excellent. And then you get Hahn knocking threes down. Yeah. I mean, that just makes a huge difference, and it helps everyone else in the team. The unsung hero of that half was, I think, Zanaj, blue-collar, tough kid. She could have lost it, and she didn't. I mean, the pressure, she didn't let the pressure just take her out of the game. She stayed with it.
Well, I like what she did, because from our vantage point here, you could see on her face that she was a little frustrated, but instead of getting frustrated and doing foolish things that were going to hurt the team, maybe picking up fouls and doing things like that and hurting her own cause and the teams at the same time, right. Instead she dug in and she played harder, and she went and she got the basketball, and those rebounds were huge because St. James was possessing the basketball at will, it seemed, and then just taking it away from Goretti. But once she started latching onto it and really dug in the second half of that second quarter, that made a huge difference for the Gales.
Absolutely. A couple keys, I think, for this half is that back line. If Goretti continues to play this, they got better. They got more aggressive. They got more physical. And they weren't calling a lot of nitpicking calls down in there. So they don't have any reason not to be aggressive. But the adjustments they make so that they don't get open looks. And weak side rebounding is incredibly important, too. And again, Bartlett, she's like the ever-ready bunny. She just continues to pressure. Anywhere she is, she's going to pressure. And she puts pressure on them offensively by attacking, which is great. She has to recognize when that's the right place. She also makes some nice passes, and then defensively, if she continues to just cause havoc, because that's what she's doing. Yeah. And the other players are solid defensive players. We talked about them being athletic, but it really starts with Bartlett.
Well, I think it's really hard to game plan for a Krista Bartlett, because I don't know how in practice you can have somebody simulate what she does, because she is a player who just doesn't care what just happened. She forgets about it like that, and instead she keeps going forward and she turns it around. If she misses a shot, doesn't matter at all to her, because where is the basketball? I'm going to go get it, and I'm going to bring it back for my team.
That's a great point. She's a great example of transitioning from offense to defense without any hesitation at all. And she's created some opportunities, and she really is bothering Goretti, but they have to adjust to that. They shouldn't be surprised.
No.
So this second half, let's give Goretti a lot of credit for at least not folding up. You didn't expect them to, but they are in striking distance. Now they're going to have to win a quarter to do that, and to do that they're going to have to get to the foul line. They're going to have to be super aggressive and draw fouls and really get a lot of breaks, and maybe a couple more threes. It doesn't have to be Hahn. Maybe another kid makes a three. Maybe Stubbs gets hot. But if they let St. James come out in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the second half and establish what they did, like they did in the first quarter, it's going to be a tough night for Goretti.
Yeah, how important is the way this third quarter starts?
Oh, it's tremendously important.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Coach Naylor, at this point, other than just staying focused and not losing their minds sometimes, staying calm and mature, they're young, they're young. But I don't know that he really has to change anything. Just get the ball, make sure Treadwell gets touches and Mosley gets touches, Bartlett stays aggressive, and they've got a nice squad on the floor.
Well, one thing I was really impressed with them is that they all pass it well.
Absolutely.
And they're unselfish.
Right.
You talked about it early. Treadwell wasn't scoring early, but she made a couple of tremendous passes to set up teammates for easy baskets.
Right.
We've seen Mosley make some passes, and then we've seen her make great catches and go to the opposite side of the rim to score. We've seen McMahon make a couple of great passes.
Nice player.
Yeah, and then Bartlett with kind of the stop and go ability of changing gears on the fly. So everything for St. James working well in that first half, especially early. And then late, Treadwell with 13 points, 7 of those in the second quarter, 6 in the first. She's been a matchup that Goretti really hasn't been able to deal with, as you said. But for Goretti, Peyton Kirshner, I know she's just a freshman, but man, again, I go back to this, 81 points the last 3 games, 0 in the first half. So if Coach Carey is looking at a silver lining from the first half being behind, Peyton Kirshner hasn't scored, and yet they're within striking distance.
Right, maybe she's the one that steps up.
Well, we're going to find out when we come back. We anticipate that we're going to have a very competitive second half here if it's anything like the second part of that second quarter. And we hope it will be. Come back and join us. Second half of action, 29-20. St. James leads it at the break. More on WCL TV coming up in just a moment.
When it comes to hearing loss, who will be taking care of you? Audiologist Dr. Karen Hamilton is Hagerstown's hearing doctor, working to improve the quality of life for those with hearing loss. At Audiology Services, Dr. Hamilton focuses on evaluation and diagnosis to provide solutions for treating hearing loss. Using the latest technology, she programs hearing aids to meet your unique needs and ensures they fit properly and comfortably. Audiology Services participates with most insurance companies and will check benefits and file claims on your behalf. Dr. Hamilton and her team also serve the community through Hagerstown Hearing, which focuses on providing crystal clear sound in places such as theaters, churches, offices, and homes. Hagerstown Hearing installs looping systems that allows those with hearing loss to enjoy speech clarity and noise reduction, providing an experience like never before. To learn more about Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, call 301-790-3300. Audiology Services and Hagerstown Hearing, providing crystal clear sound.
Well, back to live action here at the Gales Center. You haven't missed anything. Goretti with a missed shot. St. James with a missed shot. So each team with possession here to start the third quarter. And I'm sure Coach Carey wanted to see his team come out and execute right out of the break. A couple of opportunities here and nothing on the board, but they haven't given up anything to St. James yet either. So we've played even here through the first 38 seconds of this third quarter.
Well, I like this move. They've gone to a 2-3.
McMahon from long range. That's not there. Douglas with the rebound. Out to Bartlett. Finds an open Treadwell. And Rife with the board for Goretti. Stubbs with the skip. Over to Kirshner. Kirshner to the foul line, over to Zanajic, who goes baseline, little floater, too strong, and McMahon with the rebound, and a traveling violation. That was forced by Katie Miller, who was able to get in McMahon's way there as she tried to rip it down and go. So Goretti gets it back, and another opportunity to try to get closer. Stubbs trying to save it, and actually that hustle play pays off. Miller open for 3, and that is good. Or is it a 2? It's a 2-point basket for Miller. And Coach Naylor will take a timeout. So kind of baby steps right now for Goretti, but they continue to make inroads.
Well, one thing that's pretty obvious here is the Goretti kids, even in the hole, these kids have never shown like they were going to lose their minds, and maybe that's because they're playing at home and they're comfortable. St. James is showing a little bit of tension right now, and again, it's a sign of a couple kids are young, and the best thing for them to do right now is just get back to playing what they would call good St. James Saints basketball. And they got to do that in a very calm manner, because Goretti's confidence is rising here. Now, whoever has the next run, it's going to be big for this game, and it's going to be interesting. I think the next, if somebody has a big run, either team, it's going to mean a lot for the outcome.
And what kind of pace does St. Maria Goretti want to this basketball game?
I think they have nothing to lose at this point. Zanaich has gotten more aggressive. They've all gotten more aggressive physically and with the ball. They're not trying to run plays as much as they're playing hard. They've picked up their intensity on the boards. Defensively like that, I mean, their aggression is picked up. They're getting more confident.
Stubbs with the steal and finds the open Kirshner, and still cannot get one to fall. Bartlett with the rebound, and you know you're going to have to stop her. They don't. She gets it underneath to Mosley, but Mosley couldn't get it to fall, and then Stubbs races the other way. Stubbs splits defenders, too strong. Rife the putback.
Big kid ran the floor. Super job. That was just hustle play, being in the right spot. It's a two-possession ball game.
Down to 5. 2.5 minutes into the quarter. Loose ball picked off by Miller. Kirshner spots up for 3. That's her shot.
This all happened with the run before. This is one continuous run since they had 6 points.
Yep,
this is a 21-point run.
Yes, it is.
And see, they made a defensive adjustment. They went 2-3. It's a subtle little thing, but they got 3 people on the back line now, and they're really getting they're getting deflections, and they're being aggressive. And St. James just has to settle down and do what they're capable of doing at this point. And Bartlett's the leader of the team. She's got a lead now. See, again, about 4 great defensive plays.
Kirshner with the steal, and layup ties it.
She's back. She looks like a really good basketball player right now, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
All of a sudden, she's got spring in her step. She's confident. She's got the look. Used to call it the eye of the tiger, right?
Yeah,
she's
right.
Got it.
Treadwell trying to shut down this Goretti run. Couldn't do it, and now Stubbs. Ahead to Zanaich. Miller. Too strong. Rebound. Knocked out by Kirshner of St. Maria Goretti. The ball belongs to St. James, but the Gales have opened this quarter on a 9-0 run. We talked about it, how important it would be the way this quarter started. And Goretti has come out and picked up right where they left off to end the second quarter.
And now they've got the crowd into it.
Bartlett too strong. Rife the rebound. Stubbs for the lead. Kirshner.
Look at that hustle.
Great hustle by Miller inside, keeping the ball alive a couple of times, but Goretti just couldn't find the basket. St. James still hasn't scored in the quarter until now. McMahon with a three-pointer.
Let's remember that shot. With 3:26, McMahon hits a 3 in the corner. See what happens now.
First points of the period for St. James. Zanaich on the drive, and she is fouled. It's on Treadwell, her second.
I don't know if she decided it based on how sluggish the team was playing early on, or someone on the bench said to her, she's got to make. Close to 70% to have a shot.
The basket. Boy, that three-pointer, man, is changed.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
You hear it, it's a game of runs, but it really is a game of runs. Now, again, if you want to get on a run and stay on a run, make your foul shots. Get there, get the foul line, get them in foul trouble, make the foul shots.
Well, for St. James, back on December the 8th at home against Sidwell Friends, they were up by 10 points with less than 3 minutes to go. They lost that game 53-52, in large part because they could not make free throws late. Bartlett misses both of these, so again, neither team burning it up from the free throw stripe, but the closer a game is, the bigger those foul shots are magnified.
And that's being a young team too. Sometimes you got to live with a little of that.
Here's Hahn. Short. And Kirshner took it away from Douglas, but they'll call the foul on Kirshner. That's a tough one to pick up there. Coach Carey was right there. Did not like that call at all.
What he didn't like is the fact that his kid aggressively went after the ball and the St. James kid didn't. And but she had the inside position, and they're going to call that most of the time.
McMahon, nice ball fake inside for Mosley, and one.
So in the last minute, McMahon's made a three. She's driven, she's dished for a possible and one. And these are huge plays, because this was as Goretti was in the midst of a very long run from the end of the first half to the beginning of the second.
Mosley with 8 points so far on the night. And she still has 8 points. And on the rebound, Douglas able to sneak in and tie up Zanajic. But the possession error belongs to the Gales.
That was a nice aggressive rebounding attempt by Douglas there. That was well done.
Zanajic, nobody stops the ball. She's going all the way. Left it short, though. And then she fouls Treadwell after the miss. Her second personal. Fourth team foul against St. Maria Goretti here in the second half. So Goretti's expended a lot of energy to get back in this game, and a couple of plays here of late that look like they might not have turned out the way they wanted them to, perhaps because of a little fatigue at this juncture, leaving shots short and things of that nature. But it's not that they're not still playing hard, it's just they're not able to finish some of those shots. And here's a pass thrown away. Douglas with the steal. Treadwell on the drive, and Kirshner will be called for the foul.
That's a good point, Wes. These last 10 minutes of this game, it will come down to fitness level, because, neither team really goes deep into, they're not playing a lot of numbers. You don't see 10, 12 player rotation. So fitness is going to be huge. And you can see it too when they take their shots. We used to say they didn't have any legs, but it's short, and they're not getting back on defense as well. So it'll be something to watch for.
Treadwell hits 1 of 2 free throws, and the lead is now 6 with just over 2 minutes to play in the third.
Now they're up 6, but they had an opportunity at the foul line to be up by more than that.
Yeah, Goretti's fortunate right now that St. James is not making its free throws. Reif over the top for Zanajic, and that's swatted away by McMahon and then tracked down by Douglas.
They put a press on him, and it worked well for him.
Mosley from McMahon. Mosley now has 10. And that press has really disrupted.
I think this is what Coach Naylor has saved for the second half when he needed it, this press, because this is an ideal defense to play against this Goretti team right now. They might be a little winded, and they're really going to pick up the intensity.
Coach Carey calling a 30-second timeout here with the lead now at 8. And Goretti had battled all the way back to tie it at 29. And as you said, that was with 3:26 to go on that three-pointer by Kirshner. And since then, the only points that have been scored have come from St. James, and it was all ignited by that three-pointer by McMahon, and then just her all-around play, picking up a couple of assists on baskets that followed that three that she knocked down.
Right, and this was really unforced here. They weren't impressed, but the one thing you never do as an inbounder, you never throw the ball in from under the backboard. And she might have had an open player, but the backboard was playing defense on her, and that's a violation every time. So that's a sign again of an immature team, but also maybe a team that's getting tired. So you got to keep it together here, and you definitely do not want those kind of mistakes.
So St. James will inbound underneath. A minute 45 left in the third. Douglas feeds it underneath to Treadwell, who kicks it out for McMahon, and another three goes down for the freshman.
Great pass from Treadwell. Another great bucket. I think McMahon's taking this thing over.
It's an 11-0 run until now. Stubbs rains one home.
It's a matter of time with that kid. Sooner or later, she's going to get hot.
That's her first field goal since the first quarter. Mosley so tough underneath, but couldn't get that one to fall, and this is a big break for Goretti here because that looked like a chip shot for Morgan Mosley, and Goretti turns it over. Under a minute left to go in the quarter. Bartlett, nobody's going to stop her, and she's going to go all the way to the rim, but the ball would not go in. Stubbs with the quick outlet, but Molyneux couldn't reach it, and Goretti turns it over almost immediately after gaining possession.
Bartlett's having some tough luck. She's made some really nice drives tonight. She just didn't finish. On that play, it was tough to do without using the backboard.
McMahon's pass stolen away. Stubbs against Bartlett all the way. And it's a a charge is called on Stubbs.
Watch this replay, Wes. I don't know if it's the right angle to see.
Well, Stubbs is hurt.
She's got to be set before she takes off. It's a heck of a play. Both players made great plays on that.
And Kyra Stubbs is down, and this is somewhat reminiscent of the injury that she sustained against Fort Hill.
She must be having a cramp.
Yeah, I hope so, because I know against Fort Hill it was kind of a groin injury that she
this is
suffered
a little
there.
Better angle.
She hit the floor similarly.
See if Bartlett moves.
In clear spray. It looks like Bartlett was...
Oh, that's a heck of a play.
Man, I'm telling you what.
Bartlett's so quick. She did that last little jump over. She got her feet set. And, most of the time, that call goes against the defense.
Yeah.
But that was such an outstanding play. I mean, Stubbs made a great offensive move there. That was I think only Bartlett could have done that as quick as she is. A heck of a defensive play to even have a chance to get a call like that. It's huge for the game. It'd be 6 and at the foul line shooting a foul shot. So
we just hope Kyra is okay too as she makes her way to the bench. I don't think she would have suffered as much peril there. She would have just landed on top of Bartlett, but she tried not to land on her, and in so doing she wound up flat on the floor versus landing on Bartlett's body, which I think would have cushioned her blow. But nonetheless, The result is St. James with the basketball. McMahon underneath, or I'm sorry, yeah, Mosley underneath, and that's blocked. Molyneux got a hand on it. Nice feed to Kirshner from Zanajic going over the top.
Boy, she caught it high, and she kept it high, and she finished. If she had brought the ball down, she would have had a tough time. It was a beautiful pass. Beautiful pass from Zanajic.
2-possession game with 3 seconds left in the quarter. McMahon's shot is off. And at the end of 3, St. James leads it by 6. So Goretti cuts into the deficit. Gales had gotten back to even at 29, but then a big run by St. James. But it's just a 2-possession game as we head to the 4th. Back with more from the Gales Center right after this.
With over 50,000 square feet of merchandise, chances are Labors has what you need. Chairs, Labors has hundreds. You're welcome to come in and try before you buy. Filing cabinets, Labors has hundreds from verticals to laterals. Desks, cubicles, bookcases, conference tables, and more, and all at up to 70% off. Browse Labors' great selection of global office furniture, and they're happy to announce that they now carry FlexSteel furniture, quality home furnishings at Labors warehouse prices. It's all under one roof. Labors on Vasel Boulevard in Hagerstown. Family owned and operated for over 40 years.
Back at the Gale Center at St. Maria Goretti, along with Coach Barry Brown, I'm Wes Decker. Glad to have you along tonight for high school basketball here on WCL TV. And boy, we've seen an exciting game to this point. Early on, it looked like St. James was just going to run away with this thing, and then St. Maria Goretti said, not so fast. From late in the second quarter until about the midway point of the third quarter, getting all the way back to even, and then it looked like they ran out of gas a little bit. St. James spurts away, led by McMahon's shooting and passing, and now here we go to the 4th, and still really anybody's basketball game.
Absolutely, great game. This is the place to be tonight for good basketball. Great game.
Underneath, Mosley couldn't coax that one in. Here's Kirshner. That's a long 2, and she's able to bank it in. Peyton Kirshner now has 9 points, 7 of them coming in the third quarter.
She is a very good-looking freshman basketball player, just another very talented young player.
Her sister is a senior at Williamsport, and she is a freshman here at Goretti, and as I said, averaging 27 points per game over the last 3 coming into tonight. She really picked up the slack for John Jacques, who has been out of the lineup with that concussion. Underneath, it's Mosley getting tied up by Rife, and she will draw the foul and will go to the free throw stripe. And Mosley, the best free throw shooter for St. James, coming into the evening shooting just under 70%.
This game may come down to who makes their foul shots. How often does it happen?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting there.
That's what basketball is. You know, you got to play solid D, rebound the basketball, and you got to make your foul shots. It's tough to be a championship level team without being a good foul shooting team.
St. James just 4 of 11 at the line so far. And make it 5 of 12. Mosley 2 for 4 tonight. She now has 12 points. And the lead is back to 6. Zanajic getting trapped in the backcourt and turns it over. Carrying violation on Zanajic.
She was being double teamed there. She didn't really have to try to force it. I know she can handle the ball, but if she'd have just taken the dribble back and put it overhead and looked diagonal or middle, somebody would have been open for. That's that defensive pressure. St. James, they got back to it a little bit there.
McMahon, so good, and a good box out by Stubbs, keeping Mosley on her back. Wide open, Kirshner off the mark. McMahon with the rebound. Dribbled into traffic and was saved by Bartlett. Now down to Treadwell. Treadwell had only 1 point in that third quarter. Mosley underneath, and contact with Rife, and the foul will be on Rife. And that will send Mosley to the line to shoot 1 and 1.
They had Treadwell down the floor that time. She was open on the right side. Zanajic with the rebound and a missed free throw.
Gives it to Kirshner for three. Oh, in and out. And Douglas with a weak side rebound.
They got a great shot.
Bartlett steps between two defenders. Foul is called on the floor, I believe. No, it's an offensive foul. And it was on Mosley. Moving screen called on Mosley underneath, and we'll get a full timeout taken here with the margin still at 6, just as it was when we started this quarter. Talk about St. Maria Goretti a little bit, as we have, mentioning the injuries that Coach Carey is dealing with right now. But when you look at that bench, too, you see another player over there in Syria Kaya, who was very instrumental to the success of this team last year. She is a senior, hasn't played a game this year, and is likely not to play a game for Goretti, suffering an injury in the offseason. So, I mean, that's just, it's a tough blow. And as a coach, you can only go with the players who are healthy. You can't lament those who aren't there, but you have to feel bad anytime you have a senior who can't play, who has the talent that Syria Kaya has.
It just makes you sick for the kid because it's their senior year, and you hate to see a kid lose their senior year of high school athletics.
6:09 left to play in this game. Again, Goretti in this series has won the last 6. And the Gales have trailed throughout this one. They have never led in this game. They were even at one point. They got back to tie this game at 29 in the third quarter, but outside of that, they have not been even since it was 0-0. Bartlett the miss, Treadwell with the rebound. McMahon the pull-up, bingo.
Beautiful mid-range jumper.
McMahon has 13 in the game, 8 here in the second half. Stubbs tries to go over the top. It's deflected by Treadwell, stolen by Bartlett, back to Treadwell.
They're in that press and that defensive pressure. If we looked at points off defensive pressure day, it's going to be a huge disparity between the two teams. That's St. James bread and butter right there.
Well, it's kind of the way the game started. Goretti not able to get into its offense at all, with St. James throwing a lot of pressure at them. And I know yesterday Coach Carey was talking to his team about attacking the zone defense of St. James, because they knew that St. James was going to bring pressure, but once they broke it, well, the problem is that they haven't really been able to break it and then get into that offense.
Right. This thing started with defensive pressure, and this fourth quarter, it's all about that once again.
A 10-point game right now, and I think the key, Coach Naylor has really used these timeouts strategically. He's made changes and given Goretti a different look on many occasions when they've come out of the timeout. So once they think they've figured out what they're going to see defensively, he changes it up.
Exactly. They're not predictable. That's smart. The other good thing is it's 8-2 in fouls. They only have two team fouls. So they can be a little bit aggressive here and not watch Goretti go to the foul line.
Goretti able to get it across half court this time without a problem. Zanajic, beautiful
Great
feed
pass
to Reif, and that one goes home. McKenna Reif with 4 points, and it's an 8-point game. Treadwell for 3. Mosley with the board. Stubbs able to clear the ball out of there into the front court. Hahn. Ball knocked out of bounds by Treadwell. It'll stay with Goretti in the front court. 22 seconds on the shot clock. Zanajic. Beautiful feed. Hahn couldn't finish it.
What a pass.
McMahon the other way with the left hand.
That kid is an aggressive, fiery player. She only plays one way, and that's hard all the time. And that's an outstanding thing for a young kid.
Oh, behind the back, Treadwell finishes it. 18 for Treadwell. The lead is 12. Kirshner tries to go around Mosley, and Mosley will be whistled for the foul. That will be her fourth personal.
She reached. She came in hands first. She didn't have to.
Only the third team foul against St. James. Just over 4 minutes left to play in the fourth. Rife for Stubbs. And a foul on Bartlett. Bartlett's third personal. Kirshner from the corner for three. Doesn't get any as Bartlett clears it.
Now they need to be patient a little bit, run the clock down. That's what they're doing. They're getting set. Now they're going to score.
Treadwell with the miss. Zanajic with the board. Zanajic has to be in double figures in rebounds in this game. Kirshner lost the handle. Then she thought she got bumped by Treadwell, but say she lost it out of bounds on her own. The ball belongs to the Saints with 3:36 left to go.
I think Goretti's tired.
Yeah,
as a team, they expended so much energy.
I thought so too. When they got back to even,
yeah,
I thought they started to show a few cracks in the foundation there. I mean, they had to come back from 16 points down against a quality team.
This is smart.
Short-handed.
This is smart. They're running the clock down a little bit, then they're looking to score. And
outlet by Stubbs to Kirshner. And it's a 10-point game with 3 minutes to go.
The only thing St. James has to be careful, especially as a young team, is they don't lose their aggression here in the last 3 minutes. Run the clock down, but then when they go to score, be aggressive and don't just settle for any shot.
Well, this is a similar situation to the one they were in against Sidwell Friends at home earlier in the season. And you know Goretti's not going to give up here.
Right.
18 seconds on the shot clock as Douglas gets it into Bartlett. Mosley down low, tough shot, goes down.
That was a big bucket right there.
Yes, it was, and that might be the one that you look back on and say that really stemmed the tide at that point and put 2 more points on the board, because instead of Goretti coming down here with an opportunity to make this a 7 or 8 point game, all of a sudden they're looking up there and, man, we're down 12. I mean, psychologically, that's huge.
It is.
When you also look at the other element on the scoreboard, which is 2:34 remaining.
Right.
Battle underneath.
They are battling.
Results in a held ball. Possession arrow.
Good sportsmanship there with Stubbs and Treadwell.
Belongs to Goretti. Goretti turns it over. That turnover forced by the aggressiveness of Treadwell. 2:20 left to play. Drive by Bart. Yeah, great kick to McMahon.
Bring it back out.
Douglas tied up by Zanajic, but the ball will stay with the Saints.
Good job by Douglas, weak side rebounding. Now they've got the ball on a new shot clock.
And a timeout is taken. Yeah, these two teams just tremendously similar, and we sort of outlined many of those similarities in the opening. But when it comes to margin of victory this season, it's been incredible. Goretti with 14 wins coming into tonight by an average of 29 points per game. And St. James with their 9 victories by an average of almost 25 points per game.
Yeah, and you could say, I mean, it'd be easy to make excuses if you're Goretti and you're missing kids. But I think the ones that have played today have really done a great job. I mean, they've given a great effort.
I think if there's one thing that Coach Carey wishes that he would have had from the team tonight is just a little more consistency throughout the game, because there have been those, if you want to call them lull periods, the way that the game started for them. But then you have to give St. James credit on the other side, because they were able to impose their will from the start.
Well, if Goretti goes back and looks at the film, Coach Carey looks at the film, he's going to start counting how many baskets they didn't score that were pretty easy shots.
Yeah.
Drives to the basket, open floor. And, you know, when you start adding those in there, I mean, basketball's not perfect, but when he starts adding those up, this is a different ball game.
Treadwell with her 19th and 20th points of the night, and the foul is on Mosley. That'll be her 5th. Mosley fouls out with 1:57 remaining, but she has done her job.
Zanaich is hurt.
Is down.
She's hurt.
Yeah, I did not see what happened there. I saw her try to get around Mosley on the sideline.
She might have hit her knee.
As we take a look at it here.
There was hard contact. You hope it's just a knee-to-knee thing. Or
yeah, I mean, where did it happen here? She's still upright on the replay, and then, yeah, it looked like it was her right knee. And that is what they're working on. Boy, and that's the last thing that St. Maria Goretti wants to see. These injuries, and Coach Carey was talking to me yesterday about ankle injuries in particular, and how he was going to start requiring his players to wear ankle braces just because of all the ankle injuries that they've endured this season. This doesn't appear to be an ankle injury, but at the same time, just another devastating blow. And Zanaich, just a freshman, has played tremendously tonight. A lot of heart, as you called it, blue-collar work in the first half of this game. And anytime a player is down on the court for an extended period of time, boy, that's just not a good sign. So we hope that it's not as bad as it looks right now. But boy, for the Gales, rather, it has just been injury after injury here over the course of the last half dozen games or so. And already playing shorthanded, and again, really coming together tonight with the players who were available to make a tremendous run at a very talented St. James team, even this game at 29 in the third quarter. But then St. James with all of its big guns available tonight. Mosley just recently fouling out, but a 14-point night for her. And a good hand here for Camille Zanaich. A well-deserved one at that. And again, we hope that this is nothing serious, but she's certainly in a lot of pain right now, and it does appear to be that right knee. And for her tonight, she's scored just 3 points, but I think she has to be in double figures in rebounds, and she's affected this game in many other ways positively for her team.
Kid plays hard all the time. I didn't see the replay when they ran it, but I just hope that she hit her knee and she didn't twist or feel a pop or ACL or anything like that. It's not always worst case scenario. You just, when this happens, it happens too often where you see kids go down with more serious injuries. You just hope and pray that's not the case for her.
So a 14-point game with under 2 minutes to go. Rife shoots over the double team and hits. She has 6. Bartlett will take her time. St. James in no rush, up by a dozen. 4:07 on the shot clock. McMahon from Bartlett.
She made a nice cut to the hole. Bartlett saw her as usual. They really need to just take their time here.
Well, since Goretti tied this game, St. James has gone on a 27-13 run. And again, a lot of energy expended by Goretti to get back to even, but
absolutely,
St. James showing a lot of character too, because when another team makes a run like that, especially at home, and in a series that the other team has owned over the last half dozen, can kind of get in your head a little bit, but St. James didn't let that happen as they just battled right back. And Stubbs all the way to the hoop. That's off the mark. McMahon blocked by Kirshner on her way to the rim with 28 seconds to go. And a 30-second timeout called here. As I said, St. James coming into this one had done a tremendous job of holding teams down. When it comes to playing defense, they gave up just 33 points in defeating Severna Park in the Winters Mill Holiday Mixer back on December 27th. Then on the 28th, they shut down a team that hasn't played very well this year, but still, you lock a team down, you hold them to 21 points. They beat Laurel that next day, and then they were off for 12 days. I mean, that's tough. I mean, you're out on holiday break. You come back, your first game back on January the 9th. You hold that team to 17 points. So I don't care who you're playing. I mean, that is some tremendous defense because you're still playing 32 minutes. And now here today against a team that came in averaging 64 points per game. And again, granted, they didn't have all of their starters, but still they're going to hold them 20-plus points below their average.
They've done the job defensively, no doubt about it.
And St. James will just hold it here.
That's good. When you're up 14, run it down. Run it down. You don't need to score anymore. That's good sportsmanship.
Well, I know people are going to look at this final score and they're going to say, well, that wasn't much of a basketball game. But if they didn't watch this game, they really don't know what they're talking about because this was a very good basketball game.
I agree, Wes. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know you've got a team overjoyed with the win and another team very upset, but both teams played hard, and you feel just terrible for a kid tonight going down like she did.
Definitely. Well, for St. James, I think the usual suspects came through tonight. Treadwell with 20 points in the game. McMahon, who is a budding star, with 17, including the 3 that really turned this game around when St. Maria Goretti had climbed back to even in that third quarter. Mosley with 14 points. And then you really can't quantify exactly how much of an impact Krista Bartlett and Tessa Douglas had on this game too. I mean, those 5 starters for St. James are just tremendous. And on the Goretti side, again, they just lacked a little consistency, but I think that comes from not having that lineup together. The cohesion just wasn't quite there. I think they'll get better with that, but man, you just hope that Zanajic isn't hurt seriously and that she's not out for a while too. Jean-Jacques will be coming back soon for them, but you know, Coach Carey, if nothing else, is always a very optimistic guy, and I'm sure he'll find a way to get this team to continue to play at a high level because they certainly showed that they could do that tonight even when they do fall down and they don't play their best game early.
He's a winner, and that's the only choice he has is to keep moving forward and do the best they can with what they have, and they can hold their heads up high today. And again, Coach Naylor, we talked about it in the beginning, his intensity, his kids, their the fierce defensive aggressiveness. It's really something to see when it's clicking.
And congratulations to St. James for snapping that losing streak in this series. First time in 7 meetings that the Saints come out on top, defeating Goretti here 56-42. Well, 2 weeks from yesterday, we'll be at Williamsport. Boys basketball. Clear Spring and the homestanding Wildcats.
That's going to be a game.
Second time they'll meet this season. Williamsport won the first one. We'll find out how the second one plays out.
You can forget the first game. Those two, they're going to go at it. There's a lot of pride there.
A lot of pride, a lot of size. A couple of teams who are kind of young overall, but they're going to be having at it. I mean, that's a great county rivalry. Two teams that have proven that, they know how to win basketball games, and that should be a lot of fun. Look forward to that one.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Wes.
Coach, thanks a lot. I know it was a little wet out there coming in. you looked a little like Morton Salt Girl coming in here, all wet and everything else. But
right out of the shower.
We weathered the storm, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Final score here tonight, St. James 56 and St. Maria Goretti 42 for Coach Barry Brown. I'm Wes Decker. Thanks for watching this evening. This has been a special sports presentation of Antietam Media Services. So long from the Gale Center.
Prepare your child for a lifetime of success with St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School. An education with strong morals and values, small class sizes, academics, new technology and opportunities for community involvement.
Service.
Help your child reach their full potential.
Come join us.
St. Mary Catholic School and St. Maria Goretti High School, educating every child with faith in God and hope for our future.
When you're sick or hurt and can't be seen by your regular doctor, you just want to feel better faster. Make a convenient appointment or simply walk into Meritus Urgent Care, where you can receive attention from our caring professionals, from sprains and strains to sore throats, earaches, and other ailments that are not life-threatening. Meritus Urgent Care has you covered with on-site labs and x-rays and much more. We're conveniently located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Hagerstown.